and hanging out. I know there's a lot of you guys waiting around, which is great to see that you want these great games. We do have an update. Parting has decided to forfeit. It's a bit unfortunate that he would, because he still technically could have advanced, but we did have to make some group adjustments and stuff because of player requests and things, and in the end, with a group this large, there is a lot of waiting around. It's a learning experience, I guess. So Parting has forfeited. All of his matches are going to be basically O2s, and we'll play the group out from there. So basically right now, it's pretty much a toss-up between FanTaSy and SortOf as who advances. And we've got that match right now.
Let's do this thing.
Okay, spawning up in the top right-hand side of the map, it's SortOf.
And in the bottom left, Red Terran, he is a FanTaSy.
Okay, I'm going to tab out here for a sec and have a look at the bracket. So let's see. These brackets, they always make you think, man. FanTaSy, he advances. If he beats SortOf, he's not guaranteed to advance, I want to say. Let me double check. Because that would put him 2-2. Yes, okay, if FanTaSy beats SortOf, he advances. If SortOf beats FanTaSy, he advances. Right. Okay. That is
Got it.
I'm pretty sure, I'm 99% sure. Anyway, as far as this game goes on, who do you think's going to take this series?
Man, if SortOf can take a... I kind of feel like he can beat FanTaSy here.
I think that's a fair assumption. Now, these guys have actually played in Afreeca World a fair few times. It's actually a bit of a rivalry, so I was really looking forward to this match. They've been playing really since SortOf went to Korea and FanTaSy came back to pro gaming, so it's really exciting to see it develop. But though, as you said, taking down Innovation, he's no pushover.
Without question, he's very scary indeed.
Is he gonna do it? Oh, good save by SortOf.
What a perfect save.
This drone's hiding out for dear life. Oh, FanTaSy wants it, and he gets it. Oh, SortOf canceled it a little bit too soon.
Doing some work there.
Oh, the Reaper, though, he's playing with fire, but FanTaSy is paying attention.
Yeah, he's constantly moving, constantly moving.
It's like SortOf gonna try and expand here. Got his queen, looking to push that guy away.
Keeps knocking that queen back. They really are.
The real question is, could you do that indefinitely versus a queen before the Reaper grenade nerf? We never really saw that.
No.
Because it's like, what, 14 seconds now? It used to be 7, I think, or 5 or something?
I don't know exactly how much it used to be honest.
Anyway, as far as this game goes, I'm willing to bet that we're going to be seeing some mech out of FanTaSy at least one of these games. And that's why, while SortOf played fantastic versus Innovation's Bio, I'm not sure how well he'll play versus if FanTaSy mechs. But if I knew FanTaSy was going to play like just straight up Bio, I'd say SortOf's got this 90%.
Right. But mixing it up, always good. Always a good thing to do.
And there's Stim. I think this bodes well for SortOf. If he plays anything like his previous games, he's going to be looking very, very good.
Yeah, it is crazy. The hours are a little bit nuts right now. What time is it in Korea? Korea...
It is like noon, 2-ish, I want to bet.
I guess it's 2 in the afternoon. He's awake. We're good.
Yeah, these guys aren't asleep. We're the ones who it's getting late on pushing for. It's not as late as last night's cast. And since Parting did end up forfeiting, it's not going to be dragged out.
Yep. Banshee shows up. There's your cloak. There's your detection on the way, but is not...
actually no detection? Oh, okay. This is very good. SortOf. He's going to be making a mad dash for spore crawlers to save these drones. Quick, into the extractor.
Another drone coming in.
Does he get saved? No, and
No.
another one's in trouble. This Banshee. When's the last time you saw a Banshee actually show up and the Zerg didn't have a spore crawler waiting, pretty much?
Yeah, sort of messing up there a little bit. I guess he figured that base he didn't need to do it because it was so new, but he absolutely did. He was transferring drones over there. Got to keep it safe.
Yeah, the Banshee already gets a fair bit of work done. He comes back in and picks off another drone. 5 drones have gone down so far. Of course, Zerg can absorb a few of these losses, but not that many. So he definitely can't really afford to lose any more. Otherwise, this situation will be getting a little bit uncomfortable. Queens do show this Banshee the door, though.
Yeah, she's not dead, but she has to run. Hellions ready to rock with their best friend, Reaper guy. Got some Lings, got some Queens to deal with it. But, I don't know. There's not really much of a wall here. Either a creep spread, pretty fantastic. And FanTaSy's not doing much to push that back. I like the Queen wall set up here, though. That is some really good positioning. And it is going to be a Spire again from SortOf. So he's going Ling Bling Muta here against FanTaSy. It worked against Innovation. We keep saying that. And it probably should work here against FanTaSy too, but that's why we watch. You don't know. Crypt Tumor does get picked off by those Hellions, Queens, marching over to try to chase them away. They do succeed in doing so, but get pulled out of position as a result.
Oh, this drone. Oh, trying to make a 4th, but the Banshees say no. And SortOf, he's going to try again. And the Banshees, they're going to say no. So he actually cancels that. Queen's waltzing on over. And now we're seeing SortOf. He's going to be, or yeah, FanTaSy. He's going to be pushing out towards SortOf. He's just going to have some bio. He doesn't have an armory just yet, so he's not going to make these Hellions into Hellbats. That doesn't mean they aren't going to be able to help out in an attack like this. And we could very well be seeing, oh, this 4th base of SortOf. The Banshees might just take it off. They actually do.
They force a cancel. Yeah, FanTaSy's doing fantastic early game here. Really good. And here we go. Got Marines, got Tanks, got Hellions, Medivacs. This is serious business from FanTaSy right now. That said, he's pulling back. Maybe he feels like canceling the base was good enough. Banshee's swinging up around that natural base of SortOf getting some more drone kills over there, getting chased away by the Queens. And she alive because there's no detection. Oh, Cloak War.
Wow, that was like a confetti. That was very colorful. Okay, now we are seeing this standard Ling Bane Muta versus Bio. Oh, no. 2 mutas.
Wow.
Like it's nothing.
Yeah, the Muta count greatly reduced there. The Lings come in just to pick up happens. FanTaSy down south decides to push in towards a 3rd and 4th bases. Queen's here to defend. That's not going to be enough. Reaper, get out of there. You can't stand in this fight, and we are, in fact, going to get out.
Looks like FanTaSy's pulling the trigger on this. There's a lot of tanks set up, and the Marines are not splitting, so the Banelings find fantastic connections. Now the Queens just walk forward, and Queens versus tanks, it's an odd engagement because they're both so slow at killing each other. The Mutas come on in, though. They will be that relief force, and the tanks are going to get cleaned up. Meanwhile, SortOf queuing up a nice Ling run-by here, not going down without a fight. He has taken a bit of damage this game, but hanging on there, and all it takes is one Ling run-by to really get you back into the game as the Zerg player.
Yeah, so as well as FanTaSy has been doing here in the early 21 work versus army supplies, okay. Creep spread is great. He's working on a 5th base. He's got those Lings up there by FanTaSy's base. Oh, they're going for it. They are going for it, getting shoved away, though. There's enough bile there. Get on out. But really just kind of keeping FanTaSy on the back foot now. FanTaSy was pushing, but now SortOf with the Mutas, kind of trying to keep FanTaSy on this side of the map. The Lings trying to run on in with the bio out of position just a little bit here. And so far, FanTaSy covering his doors well. He's totally fine with it. 3rd base happily running SortOf up on that 5th base like he wants. Working on +2 flyer attack. 2-2 for the bio. Or for his Zerglings here. Dude, that was a horrible engagement.
That was a meat grinder right there.
Engagement in the middle of the map there.
Oh man, Banelings are trapping FanTaSy's army though as they roll on up.
Great target fire.
Though. Yeah. So FanTaSy
Great
is
target
now
fire.
pushing on in. Army supply really is in favor of the Terran. Of course, now the Mutas are going to be looking to get something done. If they can just fly on in and, say, pop off a turret and force FanTaSy to come back, that would be absolutely massive. He needs that right now. And as a matter of fact, there's actually no turret in the main base of FanTaSy. He's got Marines that are popping out. The Mutas are going to engage. Fortunately for FanTaSy, there is a Thor that pops out. We're going to actually see a Magic Box versus this Thor. The Mutas splitting out. A lot of SCVs are repairing it. They will go down to that Glaives, though. Or to that Glaive Worm. That Thor has to run away, trying to reposition SCVs.
Magic Box.
Hugging their friend, trying to keep him alive, and they do. SortOf didn't get too much work done there, and now FanTaSy is looking to push right on in here.
Banelings coming up at the front lines. That's not where you want them to be. Banelings have to sacrifice them so other Banelings can come up. It's kind of a weird situation there for those guys, but Muta's chasing on in. I don't know that SortOf has enough here. He's down about 30 army supply. FanTaSy has spread out his units exceptionally well. 2-2, that +2 ground carapace is just about done here in about 10 seconds. I think SortOf is waiting for that to go. It gives his Lings and his Banelings a lot more survivability versus all of this stuff. Can he afford to wait, though, is the question. Marines are attacking on in. It's done, and now it is go time.
The tanks are on siege, SortOf finding himself a nice window. There's so many Banelings rolling for it. A lot of them do get nullified there. The tanks are cleaned up, though. The Thor is gone. It's a lot of Marines left for FanTaSy. However, SortOf, he's got a few Banes, he's got enough Lings, he holds on for now.
Yeah, that +2 ground carapace finished exactly when it needed to. Fire attack level 2 coming in, melee attack level 2 coming in, +3 for the bio for FanTaSy finishing up here too. This is looking good. I'd say pretty good for SortOf at this stage. He's got the upgrades, he has the economy he wants, he has the base count he wants versus FanTaSy's 3 bases. FanTaSy's trying to take a 4th base now. We'll see if he gets there, but in the meantime, another attack here. Banelings, great splits, great target firing, no contact almost at all there for SortOf.
Well done. SortOf has more Banelings on the way. They're very critical for him. If you don't have those to clear out the Marines, you are in trouble. We're actually seeing FanTaSy. He's actually backing up a little bit here. Maybe he's just had enough, I guess. SortOf's going to move forward, try and pick off a Widow Mine that was straggling. Muta's flying to the north. FanTaSy, he's set his sights on this 4th base, coming on in, denying those turrets. They get
no.
The turret gets picked off right before it's finished. So now these SCVs, they gotta run. FanTaSy is quick to respond though, getting into position to shoo those Mutas away. Another 9 of them are fired up by SortOf, so he really is committing to this Muta style. It's so refreshing to see a Zerg player and a Terran player going at it. Ling Bane and Muta versus just standard Terran bio push. Muta's coming on in. The Thor does shoo them away, though.
Yeah, it has been a while since I feel like Ling Bling Muta has been super effective. Scarlet likes to do it from time to time.
Oh, it's so beautiful to watch.
She's pretty good with it. It does take a ton of control, though, as she's capable of, and as SortOf is obviously capable of, too.
Baneling's getting chased down by those Marines. FanTaSy getting every pick-off that he can. So far, though, SortOf, he's held on. He's actually managed to get up a hive. He has yet to fire up any more upgrades. However, he's got an Ultralisk Cavern on the way. A few drones are being found, though, by FanTaSy after finally getting a successful drop-off here.
Nice.
And,
Lings come
on, man. SortOf has been going for it a little bit here. Banelings have rolled forward. They're finding a few Marines, but looks like FanTaSy will clean this up. His base was lifted, though. Now we are seeing FanTaSy's looking to push on in with a vengeance. There's 25 Banelings out for the Zerg. The Ultralisk Cavern is almost done, but not quite. And the main point of contention has been this location before the 4th base. So creep really has been denied. So FanTaSy, he's able to get it set up very nicely. SortOf has a tough time pushing out off the creep there. Thor's pushing back the Muta. So many Banelings are morphing for SortOf here. However, is it enough to take on this Zerg or on this Terran?
It looks like it may well be, but reinforcing Marines coming in. The Widow Mine field is insane. All the Banelings die. The split is amazing, and that's your
GG.
GG.
FanTaSy takes game number 1. And this is an important series. I'm not sure, guys, but this could just be the decider.
Lot of pressure there. Being down 1-0 in a best of 3 is a horrible place to be. Beating somebody 2 times in a row is hard to do no matter who you are, no matter who you're playing against. So sort of is in a rough position. We'll see if he can come back. But it is it's feeling a little iffy there.
Yeah, that creep, without the creep, it's so hard to engage into Terran. And so sort of bled off a fair few Banes and stuff that game.
Yeah, I don't know that he needed to engage off creep there with those Banelings. I think maybe he overextended a little bit there. Maybe forced the Terran player onto the creep.
Yeah, maybe waited for the Terran to poke a little bit more or something and then go for it. I don't know.
Yeah, hard to know. Hard to second guess there, but we're going to get into our next map anyway, which is going to be Cyber Forest. Hey guys, if you haven't checked out the Metro Reno, check it out. There's a link up there in the chat window in the top right. The code for this tournament is AWAB. It will give free money to the participants who get money from the prize pool here. So the players, if you want to reward them for playing here, give them free money. Costs you nothing.
You can throw $1 at the players for free. It's not your dollar.
No, it's someone else's dollar. I don't know whose it is, but it's not yours.
Alrighty, both players are ready, so let's get into it.
Yeah, Cyber Forest. Pretty map, I like it. Lots of trees. Always kind of fun.
Yeah. Okay, so parting is done, though. I'm still trying to make sense. Yes. Yeah, the winner of this match advances, so this is the important one here.
Dang. Alright, here we go.
And spawning down in the bottom right-hand side of the map, playing for team player 1, it is FanTaSy. And up in the top left-hand side of the map, it is SortOf.
Yeah, FanTaSy completely crushing our expectations there. We totally thought it was going to be a nice win for SortOf. His answer to Terran Bio is fantastic, but FanTaSy had other plans.
Yeah. I don't know, SortOf's transition did seem a little bit late. Normal Zergs might have stopped at, like, say, the 9-10 mutas or whatever, and then started up the Hive or something. SortOf just was finishing up an Ultra Cavern, or just had it finished up pretty much right as he died. And that was a long game, so maybe he could have tried to tech into that a little bit sooner or something?
What do we... For like 14 minutes? It's hard to get Ultras out at much faster than that when you're constantly dealing with a Terran harassing you. So I don't know if there was much of a window for him to do that. If he'd gone straight there instead of into Mutalisks, it's very possible, but then you can't deal with the drops as well. It's rough.
It is.
Got somebody in chat saying that we should correct the scores to 99-0 if it's a forfeit rather than...
That is a very valid point. We will get on that. For now, though, we'll focus on in this game.
Yep, SCV going for the scout. FanTaSy wants to be very safe here. He knows if he wins this, it's a big deal for him. So SCV scouting just to make sure he recognizes that the pool first is a thing, because the pool first is just now finishing here. Which means the Reaper, does he want to move out is the question. Yeah, looks like he is. Going to be just fine here. SCV scouted the safety of that situation. Queen coming out. 4 Lings coming out for defense rather than for offense. And we will see the dance we have seen a million times. Yeah, Reaper trying to get some kills here, but really hard to do with the on the creep. And now that the Queen shows up, it's just not going to happen. Scouts, the third base is going down. A 2-basing Zerg is much different from a 3-basing Zerg. That information is very important to get. And sort of just droning up off the back of this. He's really very safe in the next couple of minutes, at least until Hellions show up. Although Marines early, here out of FanTaSy, he's trying to make that Reaper get a concussion or something with that back and forth action. Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle.
That Reaper is just going ham. attacks on out of there. The Banshees in the last game did get a lot done for FanTaSy. We'll see what they're able to get done this game, as he's going for that again. Marines trying to intercept that Overlord.
Yeah, and the Banshees did so much good work, too.
Yeah, they did. They delayed the 4th. And I guess by extension, they also delayed that critical creep from expanding as well, if you think about it, because that's where FanTaSy was really pushing in a fair bit. I don't know. It all comes down to, it's tough to call on those little things like that, but maybe something like that was the reason why SortOf wasn't a tough position. Now, we are seeing a Baneling nest go up for SortOf. You just got to be safe, have something, Banelings or Roaches, in case it's potential Hellbats. We haven't seen a lot of Hellbats throughout this tournament, though. Terrans haven't really been committing to those, say, decisive attacks. They've really just been using the mobility of their Hellions, seeing what they're able to find. Banshee flies on in. Banshee getting into the natural once again, SortOf without a Spirit Crawler. Oh man.
Why is he skipping detection? SortOf, you're falling apart, buddy. You cannot lose this many drones with this Banshee.
And this is even worse than the first one. He's just starting up his 4th to 3rd. He's got a lair done, so he's getting an Overseer in a second. Should be able to get a lot of damage done to this Banshee. However, the damage has already done a lot of damage to SortOf. The Banshee has already done a lot of damage to SortOf. Now Stimpak on the way.
10 kills. 10 kills, LaughNgamez.
That's
is insane. That is way too many.
And yeah. Let's see, the Banshee coming on in once again. There's still no Spore at the natural, SortOf just having a real rough time here. This Banshee's just going to be picking off all of these drones. Oh man, and Hellions are heading towards the 3rd. There are Banelings in position, so this attack is going to be getting shut down.
The Lings going for that surround.
Shutting down those Hellions is a great start in order to have a potential comeback. I mean, SortOf, he's got a long way to go after losing that many drones.
And the last Hellion does get picked off there, so that's not really any guarantee of how the mid game is going to go, but killing those Hellions really allows drone up a lot, making drones, going for those upgrades, replacing the drones he's using to build buildings to put them back on the minerals, and he's at 64 workers to 53 for FanTaSy, so he's doing all right. He's at 3 base to 2 bases of the Terran. Terran does have an orbital command in production right now, going for those bio, and it's a Hydralisk Den this time instead of the Spire.
Yeah, the Hydra and sort of Spire toss-up is an interesting question. It would be great to have Zerg pros really explain which one they prefer and whatnot. Maybe it is because of the map, maybe it is just because SortOf's behind. He feels that he wouldn't have enough substance in order to hold on versus attacks if he did invest into those mutas. And so we'll see if he can hold off. I mean, FanTaSy's moving in for his first attack. Army supplies are rather even though.
Marines just pushing the creep back. They don't need to engage yet, but pushing out the creep allows him to do much, much more future attacks, as we saw in game number 1. Waiting for that creep to recede. That patch that made creep flow faster when there are tumors and recede faster when there are no tumors was a good one, I think. I haven't heard much complaining about it either ways. It seems like a pretty good balanced spot. Alright, Marines tanks being very patient, waiting for their friends to show up as well. Queens trying to get some shots done here, but yeah, that's a lot of Marines. There we go. Lings cruising on in, go for that surrender for both sides. Tanks are going down.
All the Banelings are gone for SortOf though, and FanTaSy's stimming after these Queens. That's it, GG.